Hey guys, and welcome back to another vlog. It is about 2:50 in the afternoon. It's Saturday, February 10th. And I think I'm ready to do this. I'm not 100% sure. So for those of you who don't know, I'm sure a great majority of you know because I've tried to post it everywhere just to keep everyone up to speed. But for those of you who maybe don't know, Jackal, my adorable, precious baby angel chihuahua, passed away 16 days ago, which is insane because it feels like it happened an hour ago, but it also feels like it happened a year ago. I've never spent like a day away from that dog his whole entire life, so the fact that I haven't seen him, kissed him, hugged him, talked to him in 16 days is really weird. But yeah, so 16 days ago, Jackal unfortunately and somewhat unexpectedly passed away at the animal hospital. We knew something was going on with him, but we did not expect his passing to come so quick. So basically, I talked to you guys, I believe, in the beginning or the middle of December in a vlog, and I told you guys about an incident that had happened where Jackal kind of lost the use of his back legs, and he seemed really kind of weak and lethargic, and he kind of had a little bit of a cough. And this happened a couple times in December, and I took him to the vet for it. They did a bunch of, tests, blood work, things like that, and we couldn't really come up with a cause for it. So he was basically just on a monitor for now kind of thing, and if it progressed, we would dig deeper, basically, with like more diagnostics and more, expensive stuff, basically. But, they couldn't really tell what was going on during that time. So after that, he was fine. Like, I think it happened two or three times. I think it was 2 times. That one time I told you guys about, and then it happened again the afternoon on Christmas, is he kind of got a little weak in his back end a little bit. And then he was fine. Like, it's like he acted like nothing happened. Like, he was playing, running, eating, drinking, going to the bathroom normally, like just his normal happy self. And then, about a month later, it was a Wednesday night. It was around 11 o'clock. Well, okay, so he had been acting a little funny that Monday. He just didn't really seem like himself. Like, he seemed okay, like nothing was like emergency wise, but he just seemed a little off. And then Wednesday night at around 11 o'clock at night, I went to take them to the bathroom before bed. And we got outside, and out of nowhere, Jackal walked to the sidewalk and just full on collapsed. Like, it wasn't like before where he was like, oh, I'm kind of weak and I can't really walk. This was like something completely different. It was like collapse. Like, he started like that, and then he just fell to the ground and could not get back up. That's when I kind of knew, okay, this is something a little more serious, and I think whatever it is starting to rear its ugly head, basically, because that had never happened before, and I was insanely concerned because, obviously I was concerned before, but to actually see him like full on collapse to the ground and not be able to get back up was the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, it was horrible. So that was January 24th around 11 o'clock at night. The next morning, January 25th, he was fine in the morning. Like, he was able to walk. He went to the bathroom, and we were snuggling in bed, and I kind of noticed he kind of smelled like pee a little bit. So I'm like, okay, did he have an accident on himself, in the middle of the night? So I ended up giving him a nice warm bath, which he loved. Bath time. Bath time was like one of his favorite things. He loves bath time. And then after the bath, as I was drying him off with the towel, he seemed not himself. Like, usually after bath time, he would get the zoomies and he would get really excited and he would take his treat. He didn't want to do any of that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to call the vet. So I called my vet and I took him in for a blood pressure check, a blood glucose test, and full body x-rays. We didn't know if it was maybe something to do with his glucose, sugar levels, and I requested x-rays because I wanted to make sure that if something was going on inside, maybe we would be able to see it with the x-rays. So I took him in for that, and as soon as he was done there, on the way home, he seemed even worse. And then when we got inside, he went downhill almost immediately. Another weird thing about that morning is I did take his temperature because if you guys remember last May, he was very, very sick with whatever that was. We still don't know what the heck that was last spring and summer. So I was like, okay, maybe, does he have a fever? Like, is he experiencing this weird sickness again? And I took his temperature and I noticed that it was only at 100. Usually Jackal would run about 101.3, but this time it was at 100. And I was like, okay, still normal, but a little on the low side. I was sitting down with him and he literally he got worse. Like, it's like he went from being just okay to being like, okay, this is a dire situation. He wasn't responsive. He couldn't walk. He was unable to hold his head up. He could not swallow. He really, really wanted water, and I would try to give him water. I tried giving him water through a syringe, and he just couldn't swallow. It would just come out of his mouth. And then I looked in his mouth, and his tongue and his gums were blue. Bright fucking blue. And he was cold, which is not good, very, very bad. So I immediately started freaking out. I started crying. I called my mom. I called my boyfriend, and I told him, I was like, please get home from work as soon as possible. Something's not right. And of course, like, you know, my boyfriend being who he is like, oh, he's fine. You're overreacting. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I know this dog like the back of my hand, and I'm telling you, this is the worst I have ever seen him. And he's had several sicknesses, and this was the worst I've ever seen him. So I was like, you need to get home as soon as possible. My mom came over. I called my sister. My sister came over. And before my mom and sister got here, Jackal did something that kind of made it real that he was dying, because he dragged himself by himself into a corner and laid down. Now, something about dogs, small dogs, is when they know they're dying, they will usually go to a spot by themselves and be alone to die. So when I saw that he did that, I knew that, you know, this is probably his last day with me. And then my mom and sister got here. He was freezing cold, so we wrapped him up in blankets, and that's when I called the emergency hospital. I explained everything that was going on, and I brought him in as soon as possible. We got there at about 5 o'clock on January 25th, and at around 6:30, quarter to 7, they had a tech call us into a room. Now, I was at the emergency hospital with Jackal last May, June, May, something like that, for that first sickness because his temperature skyrocketed and it was really high. So I was at the ER with him before, but never before was I ever called into a room. So when they called me into a room and my family, I was like, oh shit, something's wrong. And the doctor came in, and I had like a gut feeling that something bad was about to be told to us because A, they pulled us into a room by ourselves so we weren't in the lobby, whereas last time they, you know, talked to me in the lobby and I was able to bring him home. And the doctor came in and she basically said his temperature is at 96 degrees, which is absolutely frigid, freezing for a dog. And they did a ultrasound and a CT scan, and they had found fluid around his heart, And in his abdominal cavity, they found several masses in his abdomen around his kidneys that were actively bleeding. So essentially, my dog was bleeding internally, and that's why he was so cold, because he wasn't getting blood flow to the proper areas. He was basically bleeding internally and basically drowning from the inside. And she said due to his age and his current heart situation, you know, I don't think he would survive any sort of surgery, because she was talking about, you know, we could go in and try to find the source of the bleeding, make it stop, do blood transfusions, etc., etc. And she said, but given his age and his critical condition, she said that he was in critical condition, that she would recommend humanely euthanizing him. And I always knew getting a dog that this day would come, but you don't ever think it's, like, it's kind of like an ignorant way to think. You don't ever think it's gonna happen to you until it actually does. Like, even though you know that dogs don't live forever, you just don't ever think it's gonna happen to you. But when you hear those words of your best friend and someone that you've spent, like, half your life with, it's pretty intense, dude. So, and I knew, you know, I wanted to do everything that I could. I wanted to do everything that I could to save his life. But I knew that if I tried to have him go through that surgery, I knew he wouldn't make it through. And if he was going to pass, I wanted to be there with him. I didn't want him to die alone on a table with a bunch of strangers around him. I wanted me and my family to be there. So, God, I thought I was doing so well holding myself together here. I made the decision to put him to sleep, which is so weird. Like, it's such a weird thing to go through. I've never had to go through this before. Jackal was my first dog, and this was my first experience having to do this. So, my boyfriend wasn't there, so I called him and told him to get to the hospital because we had to put him down, which my boyfriend thought he was going to be fine and that he was going to come home. And that's what I thought too, honestly, like, because on the way to the vet, he couldn't even hold his head up. Like, he was literally, like, just dead weight. Like, he couldn't, he was, and another weird thing is, like, he was, like, gone. Like, you would look in his eyes and it would be him, but he just wasn't there. Like, he was not there. And when we got to the vet, in the lobby, they upload, like, pictures, like, status pictures, or, like, pictures of them back in the hospital ward, and it shows up in the lobby. So it'll say, like, Max, and it'll show his picture, and it'll show, like, you know, like, time slots or whatever. I don't know how else to explain it, but Jackal's picture was up there in the lobby. So I was able to see a picture of him in the hospital, in the kennels, and he had his head up. He was holding his head up. And I was like, that, like... that son of a bitch, like, he couldn't hold his head up 10 minutes ago, and now he's holding his head up and he's looking around, like, so I was like, I swear to God, if he's faking this again, like, but, no, that wasn't the case. So, after my boyfriend got there, it was me, my mom, my sister, and my boyfriend in the room, and when they brought Jackal in, so we could say goodbye to him, you guys, it was not my dog. He was so miserable. He was in so much pain. He wasn't even there anymore, basically. And this animal hospital was so nice, you know. It wasn't like my primary vet. We were at the animal hospital, and they were so nice. They gave us all the time we wanted, and, you know, we all said goodbye. We told funny stories. I had about 5 minutes alone with him, and I just talked to him and told him, you know, some things. And then I called my family back in, and then we hit the call button. They came in, you know, first they, you know, if you ever put an animal down, you know. He passed away very, very quickly. I would say as soon as they put the sedative in, because they give a sedative before they administer the, you know, the deadly stuff. And I don't even think he was there once they put the sedative in. Like, it went very quick. He was in so much pain, and he was so miserable, and he was so sick, and he just wasn't, you know, he just wasn't there. So he went quickly, he went peacefully. As hard of a decision it was, I think I made the right one, because even though I did everything that I could for him, there was nothing more I could do for him. Even though I feel guilty that I didn't do more, but in reality I did do everything, you know? And I also feel really, really guilty that his last day on Earth, you know, he was at the vet and he got a bath. You know, I wish he didn't have to spend his last day like that. I mean, even though he liked his bath, I don't know if it was hurting him, you know what I mean? Because clearly that dog has been hiding his pain for a very long time, so I feel bad that I gave him a bath that day. I don't know if I did something to, like, you know, quicken it. You know, I just wanted to give him a bath to, like, get the pee off, but I don't know if that was a good decision or not, because even though he did like the bath, I don't know if I was hurting him. And then he was at the vet for like an hour, and then, you know, then he passed away. Like, if I would have known it was his last day, I would have done so many things differently. So I'm feeling very guilty about how he spent his last day. I had no idea that he was going to pass away. I mean, once I heard everything that was wrong, you know, I knew he was going to pass away, but I didn't know it was going to be that day. Does that make, I don't know if that makes any sense, but, you know I made the right decision. I know he's not suffering anymore, but I also just feel very guilty. You know, why didn't I ask for ultrasounds at the vet? Why didn't I, you know, do more? But at the same time, I did do everything that I could. You know, it's just, and that's the thing with Jackal is, gosh, he was so, he was so difficult when it came to his sicknesses, because back in 2020, he was hospitalized for jaundice, and it took us the longest time to figure out that it was jaundice before we figured it out, you know? So that dog just hides his sicknesses so well, and it was always so hard to diagnose that dog. Oh, man. And I also don't know if by taking him to the vet and getting those x-rays, you know, because when they give a dog x-rays, they kind of have to, like, stretch them in awkward, you know, positions to get views of certain things. So I'm like, by taking him to the vet and making him get those x-rays, did that, like, tear open a mass and start the bleeding? Like, I just don't know if I caused this, but I can't think like that. Like, I can't think like that. So yeah, Jackal has passed away. I did get him cremated. I got his paw print. I got his hair samples, nose prints, paw prints, everything. I did get all of that stuff because I wanted everything of his with me. He was my first dog. I had him for 12 and a half years, and he was around between 12 and 13 and a half years old when he passed. We never really were 100% sure. So I had him just before I turned 19, and I'm 30 years old now, so that's almost half of my life that I've had him. He was my first dog. He was literally, like, my heart and soul. That dog was my fucking soulmate. Like, I love my other dog, obviously, but there's something about your heart dog, and that's what Jackal was. He was my heart dog. He was my soulmate. He was, like, my one true love. This last 2 weeks, I've pretty much just been living in a weird blur. Everything feels wrong. Nothing feels normal. I just feel weird. I just feel weird not having him here. Like, I've been doing okay, despite how I look right now. I'm doing okay. I always thought that when this day came, I would need, like, a fucking psych ward, because I thought I was gonna go ballistic, but I think what's helping is seeing how sick he was helped, you know, because I knew I couldn't make him feel better. The only way to make him feel better is to let him be at peace. So I think that really helped. If he would have walked into that room and started wagging his tail and, like, acting like himself, and then I put him to sleep, I think I would be worse. But the fact that he was so sick and miserable looking, you know, I feel like I don't even know if that's the right word, but it helped, I guess, the whole process, because I know I helped him by letting him go to sleep. But oh my god, it's been so fucking weird. Like, my chest constantly hurts. I think it's some sort of heartbreak. Like, it's almost like I can feel my heart breaking, but I'm doing okay. I do cry, obviously. You know, I'm still going to work. The first day back at work was so shitty because I do work in a vet clinic. So my first day back at work, I had to drop off all of Jackal's food, because if you guys watched my last vlog, I just made a huge order of food and I had over 24 cans of his food, and I can't give it to Avril. I can't just give it away because it was a prescription food, so I had to bring it to my vet. So that fucking sucked, dropping his food off at my vet, knowing that he would never eat it again. That sucked. But I'm back at work. I'm working. I'm doing fine, because usually sometimes when people lose their dog, they don't want to, some people, and there's nothing wrong with this, but some people don't want to be around other people's dogs. Like, it makes them sad, it makes them uncomfortable. And I went back to work just to see how I would do. I'm a dog groomer, which I'm sure many of you know, but maybe if you don't. So I work with dogs every single day. And I didn't know how it would affect me. I didn't know if being around other people's dogs would make me sad. I did cry several times throughout the day, my first day back. But surprisingly, it helped being around other people's dogs. It was a nice distraction, and it also made me appreciate other people's dogs more. I mean, I always care about my clients. Like, I'm gonna treat your dog like how I would treat my own, but after losing my own dog, it gave me a new sense of appreciation and a new sense of caring for other people's dogs, because the way I felt about my dog is probably how people feel about the dog that is currently on my table. So it gave me like a whole new sense of appreciation, and it hasn't bothered me being at work. It's actually been helping me a lot. So I've been taking care of myself. I've been eating, drinking, keeping up on things I need to keep up with. I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to work. I'm absolutely devastated and heartbroken and miserable, but I'm doing okay. As far as Avril, I don't know if you can see her, but she's laying down over there. As far as Avril, she was the worst on days 2, 3, and 4. She was grieving really, really hard, but she's also been doing okay to an extent. If you guys don't know, she has really bad separation anxiety, and her brother kind of helped with that. And also, she's 7 years old, and she has only ever known her life with Jackal. So now the fact that she doesn't have Jackal anymore, I'm sure she's going through it right now. And the thing with her separation anxiety is it is now about 50 million times worse, which is understandable. I'm not trying to be resentful because it's not her fault. I know her life got turned upside down just as much as mine did. Oh my God. It's pretty intense. I've been, trying to grieve, but I'm also trying to figure out ways to help Avril. Her separation anxiety has gotten about 50 times worse, so I do take her to work with me every single day. I can no longer leave her alone. I have to take her with me everywhere. I'm going to consult a trainer, and I'm also going to consult with my vet to see if we can start her on a different medication, because it's bad, you guys. Like, I don't even know if you understand. It's been pretty gnarly here, like the amount of changes and the amount of struggles that Avril is going through. And I'm trying to push through for her. I need to get her in a spot where she can be comfortable being by herself. She's never spent any time by herself for as long as she's been alive. She's either had me, my family, or Jackal. And now she doesn't have Jackal, which was like her cornerstone of life. It's been very different, and it's been a struggle. But as far as her grieving, she's doing okay. She's eating, she's drinking. You know, she's chewing on bone. She's doing everything the same. I'm keeping her routine the exact same. It's been crazy here. Everything looks different in my house. Like, you know, not seeing his food bowl, not seeing his crate, you know, things like that. I did leave all of his stuff alone up until a couple days ago. So I'm kind of trying to adjust with how different things look. It's also weird that I'm wearing a black shirt with absolutely no Jackal hair on it. That's really weird, let me tell you, because usually when I wear a black shirt, it would be covered in Jackal hair, and it's not. There's not one piece of his hair on me, which is also really weird. I just wanted to give you guys the rundown on what happened, how I've been doing, what I've been doing. I got Jackal like a memory box, and I have all of his stuff in it. So I did get that all finished up, and I have it upstairs, so I figured I could go ahead and show you guys that. I uploaded it on my Instagram story a while ago, but not as many people see my Instagram stories as they do my vlogs, so I figured I would just show it in a vlog. Alright, so it's kind of hard to see, but this is his little memory box. So I have all of his things in here. There it is. So we have his urn. I did get him cremated, so he's now in here. We have his collar with his name on it. I have his little paw print. I have these, which I don't know if you guys remember, but I did a video a couple years ago where I made 3D prints of his paws. Looking back, I'm so fucking glad I did that, because now I have little 3D prints of his paws. I have a vial of his hair, his paws, and his nose, and I have his favorite toys in here. He had 3 all-time favorite toys. So he had that little eyeball, which he loved. He had his blue dragon toy, and that toy back there that he got for his last birthday. So I have all his favorite toys in here. I have a picture of him, and yeah, that's his little memory box with all of his stuff in there. So I just keep it up here in the bedroom because this was one of his favorite rooms in the house. As you can see, I only have one crate here now. Excuse the laundry. I only have one crate in here now, but he loved being in the bedroom. He loved being in his crate, so I figured having his little memory box in the bedroom was the best spot for it. But that's what it looks like. Hopefully you can see it okay. It's kind of dark in here. The weather's been really gloomy, so... And I also have his certificate of cremation back there as well. So he passed away on the 25th and he was cremated on the 27th. So I just have that back there as well, and all of his little things. So that's his little memory box. I was gonna get like a shadow box, you know, to hang on the wall, but I wanted to put as much of his favorite things in there as possible. So I just got a big clear box. I think this is used for like books. I got it off of Amazon, and I just, you know, put everything in there, and I can, you know, open it and close it in case I want to take something out or put something in. I have been taking his urn out every once in a while to hold it. I did let Avril smell his ashes. Like, I opened up the top and I let Avril smell them. And that was incredibly emotional because you could tell by her reaction, she knew who was in there. Like, she could just tell. And it's very interesting because, you know, I lost my dad almost 6 years ago. This August will be 6 years since my dad passed away. And losing him really sucked, like when my dad passed away. But I think what makes this different is when my dad was sick, you know, we knew he was going to pass away. They gave us a timeline and we knew it was coming. But for Jackal, I did not think he was going to pass away so quick. So it definitely has a different sting to it. Like, they both suck equally, but this definitely has a whole different sting to it, for sure. And I'm also so glad that Jackal didn't pass away on the 24th, because my dad passed away August 24th, and if Jackal would have passed away on January 24th, I would have lost my mind. So I'm glad it wasn't the 24th, it was the 25th, but yeah, I just thought that was crazy. I was like, I'm so glad it's not the 24th, even though the year is 24, but I'm gonna go kind of decompress a little bit. I'm gonna watch some TV and just kind of zone out a little bit. And I will talk to you guys in the next clip. Bye. Okay. Oh, good girl. There you go. Good girl. Oh my gosh, you're smarter than I thought, sis. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Sweetie, use your critical thinking skills. You gotta move this one out of the way. No, don't rip it up. Wanna go to Big B? Good girl. Sit. High five. Ah, my goodness, what was that? Good morning, guys. So it is 10 o'clock in the morning. It is Sunday, February 11th. It is Super Bowl Sunday today. I just went and got a coffee. I have not gotten a Big B latte in a very long time. Avril also got her pup cup, which, as you can see, she is thoroughly enjoying. She hasn't had a pup cup in a while. And now I'm just sitting in line at the car wash. I usually try to get car washes every Sunday. So that's what I'm doing, trying to have a good day. I was up really late last night watching Matt Rife crowd work TikToks. Oh my god, they were so freaking funny. Just trying to make myself laugh and feel better. That latte is so good. Tried to get, myself up and moving this morning, taking Avril for a walk. So I will talk to you guys in the next clip. Just wanted to give you a little Sunday morning update. Hey guys, so welcome back, first of all. Hope you all are having a good day. Today is Tuesday. It is currently February 13th, and I was just sitting here editing this vlog that you guys are watching now. I had a pretty productive day today. So today was like the first day where I actually, as soon as I woke up in the morning, I actually got up out of bed instead of just laying there. Because usually I'll just lay in bed for hours. But I actually, got up today, which, you know, that's a start, it's a plus. I went and ran my taxes because it is tax time, so I had to go and drop those off. It was a little bit nerve-wracking because I live my whole life within like a 2-mile radius, so whenever I have to drive somewhere that I'm not like super familiar with, I get very, very worked up, but I did it. I dropped off my taxes, so that is done and taken care of. Hopefully I get something good back. I paid off all of Jackal's credit card bills. I thought officially those are done and paid for, which was kind of bittersweet because it's kind of like, you know, this is it. Like, that was the final thing that I had to do. So I paid off all of those credit card bills. And then I went and saw my mom for a little bit and just kind of, you know, caught up with her. And I had to get like a bin from her because, and I'll show you, but I did the hardest thing that I'll probably have to do besides, you know, putting Jackal to sleep, is I had to go through all of their toys, and I decided to keep all of Jackal's things, all of his favorite things, and I decided to put them in a bin for storage. So, like, I have his stick that he liked to chew on. I have like a bunch of his other favorite toys, his little hot dog, and his soccer ball, and his leashes, and I have this bag here with like his harness, some Halloween costumes, some collars, and as you can see, his harness, it still has all of his hair on it, so I didn't want to clean the hair off, so I kept the hair on it. His first ever sweater that I ever got him, you know, as you can see, it still has his hair on it. Yeah, so that was really hard to do, but I did it, and all of his stuff is now nicely packed away in this little bin for storage. I couldn't part with it. I couldn't donate any of this stuff. I wanted to keep it, so that's what I did. I got everything in here and organized. It's really kind of sad seeing all of that stuff, you know, knowing that he's never going to play with it again, but I couldn't, everything in here was so sentimental to me and also sentimental to him. Like, these were his things, you know, and I couldn't, I'm being selfish. I cannot let another dog play with this stuff. It just wouldn't feel right. So, and yeah, so that was my Tuesday. It's like 4 o'clock now, so basically the day is done. Every time it gets to be around 4 o'clock, I'm like, oh, the day's over. I don't know if that's just because I'm getting old, but yeah, the day's pretty much over. So the only thing I really have left to do is just feed this hungry beast. Are you getting hungry? Are you hungry? Yeah? Do you want something to eat? Are you hungry? Yeah? So I gotta feed her, feed myself, shower, and just go to bed because I have work in the morning. So, and I'm probably gonna wrap this vlog up here because I want to start a whole new fresh one. And what I mean by that is I want to completely just have like a normal vlog where it's not like sad stuff. I feel like this was like the final video that I'm gonna make about all of this stuff. I felt like this was the last thing that I had to do, you know? And I know some people are like gonna be like, you know, who cares, quit talking about it, but if you've been around my channel for as long as I've been doing YouTube, then you guys knew Jackal pretty freaking well, and he was like, in a way, your guys' dog too. So I just felt that this was like something that I needed to do, and it did make me feel better talking about it. Even though it does make me emotional, it still does make me feel better. So that's why I did that. But this girl is bothering me. She's very hungry, so let's go feed her. Are you hungry? And can we just talk about how freaking weird it feels to only be feeding one dog? I've never just had to feed one dog. I've always fed 2 dogs. It's just, see what, like, everything just feels weird. It's just weird. She's a hungry, hungry girl. She's a hungry, hungry girl. Okay, what do you think? Are you hungry? All right, you gotta come over here. There you go. There you go. Good girl. That's good stuff, huh? Yep, eat it up. Also, I wanted to get your guys' advice because I don't really know what to do with this. So, in my last vlog I showed you, this is where I store all of, well, Avril's, but this is where I stored my dog's food. So, Jackal would eat these as additives or toppers on his food, but now that he's gone, I have so many of them, and Avril can't, well, it's not like she can't have them, but I don't really like want to feed her these. I don't know, it's just not necessary because she eats her food just fine. But I want your guys' advice. What can I do with these? Chewy, I emailed Chewy and they said to just donate them, but do you guys have any advice on where I can bring all of these Caesar dinner meals? They're literally all brand new, none of them are expired. I just got them, but I don't know what to do with them. So do you guys have any advice? Like, I don't know if I should post on Facebook or what. And I mean, a vet clinic won't take these because they feed like vet food, and this isn't vet food. This is just like, I call it naughty stuff, but I don't want it to go to waste because, you know, I don't know what to do. So if you guys could give me some advice on what I can do with all of these Caesar dinners, that would be great because I just don't really know what to do. But yeah, it's just Avril's food in here now, which again is very weird. Yeah, I had to move Avril's eating location for the moment because if you guys remember my Maryland wall right here in my dining room, okay? All of my Maryland pictures right here, they were all hung up with command strips, and I had an incident a couple months ago where one of the pictures on the other wall fell and shattered, and it was hung up by command strips. So I wanted to completely switch all of these to nails instead of command strips because I don't trust them. Do not ever use command strips to hang up your pictures because it's not going to end well. Well, last night, one of them, as you can see that empty spot right there, where am I pointing? Now you guys see it, that empty spot. Last night, it fell and shattered everywhere. And if you guys know, this is where my dogs, or Avril, this is where she would eat and drink. And if she would have been in here 5 seconds longer last night than she was, that picture would have came toppling down on her and probably killed her because there was glass everywhere. It probably would have fucking impaled her, and I don't even want to think about what could have happened because I was just so shooken up by that. So I'm gonna have my boyfriend come home tonight. We're gonna go through and make sure that every single one of these are hung up with an actual nail. We already checked them and we left one of them without a nail. And that's what happened. So I'm like paranoid now, so I need to have him come home. I need him to check every single picture, make sure there's a nail, and we're gonna take off the command strips because those things fucking suck. So that is why her food location has moved for the moment because I'm just full on paranoid now. Hey sis, was it good? Did you eat all your food? Yeah, let's go check, let's make sure. Oh, excellent. Good work. Good girl. All right, mommy, take you potty in just a second. I wanted to end this vlog here and start a new one because I have something fun I'm doing this coming weekend, and I just want to start a whole new vlog, happy and fresh about it. And yeah, I think this one is about almost 45 minutes long, so yeah, but I do apologize that it was kind of sad and whatnot, but that's just my life. I vlog my life, and this is just what's currently happening in my life right now. So I'm gonna end it here, get it up for you guys, and there will be another vlog up very, very soon after. So thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna take Avril to the bathroom now before she pees somewhere. Make sure you give a thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed, and I love you guys. Thank you all so much for the amazing support you've been giving me. It really means a lot. I love you, and I will see you soon.